Hey Off-White Coat listeners, it is my privilege to get to tell you about this sweet deal from our friends over at Picmonic. If you haven't heard about Picmonic, it is a fantastic picture-based mnemonic platform that can certainly help out any student. Most of the videos are around 2 minutes long and provide a quick and effective way to memorize material for any upcoming medical exam. It is extremely efficient. They have this search bar function where you can search playlists on general topics like renal to step 1 to step 2, or even first aid and other books. If you want to review the Picmonic for later, you can even make a playlist of your own. Picmonic even has this repetition algorithm that is spaced out according to your learning needs. This helps with increasing long-term retention and allows you to review the right information at the right time. One of my favorite functions is the quizzes that are associated with each Picmonic. I'll take the quiz first and then learn about the associated pictures and what facts I need to sharpen up on. Honestly, Picmonic is a fantastic tool, and if you use our code OFFWHITECOAT, you'll get 20% off. That's Off-White Coat with no spaces. So what are you waiting for? Make studying the easiest part of your day. Sign up with Picmonic and use Off-White Coat to save yourself some money. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the Off-White Coat podcast. I'm your host Jordan Abney, and I am joined today by two special guests. We got Gabriela
Arizmendi.
Jesus.
Gabriela Arizmendi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my full name is Gabriela Enid Arizmendi Vélez.
I love that.
Yeah.
Carmen Elizabeth, Juanita Elizabeth Cortez.
Something like that.
Spy Kids.
Yes, and she's been on here a couple times now at this point.
At this point, you guys can't get rid of me.
But Gabriela, she has been a trooper throughout this whole process, because without Gabriela, we would have been lost in the ER because, I mean, at least for other rotations where I've had to use my Spanish, like pediatrics, I was talking to children, or surgery, we were talking about the surgery. In the ER, I've heard the most craziest conversations, and then just looked over at Gabriela and been like, what just happened? And she's like, I'll tell you later. Mm-hmm. But honestly, two great students here. I was glad to have both of them in my rotation. It's been a very enjoyable one. We did our emergency rotation at Carrollty Hospital. Now, it's kind of a smaller hospital, but we've gotten to see a lot of interesting things. And yeah, and it's been great. I got to meet Gabriela. She's a brand new face. Yeah, you went to what medical school again? UMHS. And where is that at? St. Kitts.
IMG represent. Can we just take a moment and actually
I know
talk about this?
It's tough when the IMG students are the best students in the hospital.
We are the only students in the hospital right now, but absolutely the best students in the hospital.
But yeah, so how was St. Kitts?
I really enjoy being in the island. I'm from Puerto Rico, so it's just island. So didn't see much of a difference. But to me, it was awesome. Some people actually complain about St. Kitts and the limitations that you have on an island. If you come from the mainland, you'll be surprised. There are not big supermarkets. To find one desk chair, you will have to spend half of your refund check from your loans. But overall, I enjoy it. I love it. I will recommend going there. It humbles you in certain ways, but it makes you grow in another way. So.
No, that's awesome. Besides having to, besides finding desk chairs, that sounds like a good time. We had in Grenada, that was some of the issues, was finding whether it be electronics or some other smaller things. It costs an arm and a leg for one to get it, and then it would be just so difficult to find it. On top of that, if you needed a cord for an Apple phone or something.
Don't. Just wait.
It was $300 US.
Yeah, just wait. Don't buy it on the
It would be cheaper to ship it down, and shipping was astronomically high.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know for you guys, but we in Puerto Rico, we found this tropical shipping company. They for $75, they will put 8 medium boxes from Home Depot, and you can ship anything. Food, clothing, apartment stuff. So for $75, you go to San Juan port, ship it in, and then 1 week later, you will take it out from the port and customs there for $65.
Okay.
But you can ship everything. Anything you want, you can be shipped.
So you just go to Home Depot and hey, I got
you've got 8 boxes and medium boxes. You fill them up and you thought like $8 is not enough, believe me, it's enough. And you're good to go.
Why am I so salty about this? They definitely did not have this in Grenada because I paid like $450 to ship like what are those things? A container.
So
yeah, I had a container.
I don't know. I know from mainlanders, like they really have a hard time, especially if you're vegan. There wasn't a lot of vegan options. Even though I eat meat, I usually go to the supermarket in Puerto Rico, buy a bunch of meat, put it in the freezer, go through TSA with them. I got stopped twice because they like opened my bag and like, what the hell?
Why are
you bringing so much chicken and whatever?
Like,
and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to St. Kitts and you don't have like access to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For me, it wasn't shocking, but for other people, it was like, how you cannot go to the grocery store and buy chicken? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. That's the one tough thing about the whole island life is just getting things over there.
Yeah, there's no Amazon. It's just like less of a convenience thing.
No Amazon. Yeah, you better figure it out some other way. You can get Amazon to ship it almost to there, I think.
No, you can't.
You had to get
can't.
Amazon. In Grenada, you had to get Amazon to ship it to a friend, and that friend had to have good enough parents to send it to you.
Yeah, and it was still like expensive to ship it from there.
You
learn
to St. Kitts, but you're supposed to use the school address, not your apartment.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't know how that worked. I never had like that. Anything shipped like that, but I heard like other people.
Why would you need to? You were carrying all your chicken in your luggage.
Yeah.
For the entire term.
Yeah, like 3 months worth of chicken and one backpack.
How did you hear about St. Kitts? Was it?
It's very popular in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Like in Puerto Rico, we have 4 med schools that are, fully accredited by. But since there are 4 and our MCAT scores for like, applying to it is like 496, 492, it's not like that high compared to mainland. So most of the students that come from the United States that had like low MCAT for you guys, they go to Puerto Rico, so the spots fill really quickly. So most of the Puerto Rican students go to St. Kitts, Antigua. I think Grenada has some medical students from Puerto Rico too.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
We just jumped to the islands or Mexico. It's very popular. Like I would have thought like I would be alone, but then I get there and then half of my class, or more than half of my class, is from Puerto Rico.
Yeah, there was a girl today in the ER that was from Puerto Rico. That was from your school.
Yeah.
So is it better to go to the actual medical school? Like you want to practice in the U.S., right? Mm-hmm. You want to be an OBGYN. Is it better to go to a school in Puerto Rico or to do another known international medical school?
It's better to go to Puerto Rico because if you go to Puerto Rico, you're not considered an IMG student.
Oh, true.
I guess so because it's is it a province? Or how do you...
I like that we both laughed at him pronouncing that.
I don't want to go political here because I have my views on this, but we're a colony. Basically, we're a colony. If someone is hearing this from Puerto Rico and tell it otherwise, they're lying. But we don't have like statehood. We are not free. We are not a state. We're just like
Gabby's taught us a lot. We can talk about the whole political geographical.
Oh yeah, and like who they like, who they don't like.
Yeah, but she's definitely taught us a lot about a whole nother culture and taught us way more Spanish than I could even possibly. You'd be very impressed. We spent a lot of time on Duolingo. Me and Hadley had to pick up Duolingo. We ruined our streaks a couple times, but we would literally sit in the ER and you'd hear like
ding
ding, and you'd be like
that positive reinforcement. It's so hard, but then you've got like Gab right there sitting there going like, I mean, she's like full on translating, and then we're just sitting there going like "Donde está?" Yeah, like it just makes you almost seem like you have no grasp on how to communicate at all, and it's humbling, but it just also makes you step into someone else's shoes, and I really liked that.
Yes, it is very, very humbling, because this is going to be one of my last rotations, and the issue is that I could pretty much handle almost any patient encounter, whether it be like some of the procedure stuff, or at least taking history, physical, and doing all that. Now, all of that's out the window. Like, I'm like, I don't even know how to properly get in there and get blood, because I'm not sure how to tell everybody, he's just staring at me, and I'm just like, lift your arm, and he's like, don't speak Spanish.
Not even. Jordan just goes in and pokes them.
Yeah. I'm like this. I just show them the tools, and they're like, oh God.
And there's when I come in like, oh, he's trying to draw your blood. He's going to take some blood to do some tests. That's where my translation comes in.
Wait, say it in Spanish, like what you just said, though.
Like when Jordan's
Jordan's walking in.
Okay, ahí voy yo y digo como que Jordan te va a sacar sangre porque te va a hacer unos estudios. Entonces, basado en esos estudios, vamos a saber qué procedimiento podemos hacer contigo, qué medicamentos podemos recetarte, o si necesitamos imágenes, rayos X, CT scans, and all that.
It's so pretty the way it just rolls off, but it's also so fast. So I'm sitting there feeling like I'm watching Sonic the fucking Hedgehog talk, and I'm just like, you're trying to keep up.
Yo necesito chupar tu sangre.
You don't say chupar.
Isn't that suck?
Oh my God.
It actually translates to,
Oh, dirty. Yeah, that's a dirty translation.
Exactly. No.
That's about the only word I know. I know. My translation, I'm just using the wrong verbs.
I feel like you learn curse words before anything else.
Say that. Yeah.
She's like, yeah, no. Can you imagine like saying that in like a medical setting too? That'd be hysterical.
No.
There's a lot of times where I've just made up some Spanish, and luckily Gabby was always there to correct it right after I did it.
Yeah.
I'm like, vegetables. She's like, no. Let's just move on. Speaking of vegetables, though, Carroll T Hospital, fantastic food.
Chef's kiss. Honestly, maybe it's just the fact that like we're like the full-on gringos and we're just like, oh, like everything down here is so good. It is amazing. Like all the different like parts of like the ethnic food, like we just said, it's like, I thought it was going to be mostly Cuban, but Gab corrected me earlier and there was like a shout out to a Puerto Rican dish. What was it?
Stuffed potato, but it's relleno de papa.
It was literally shepherd's pie in a ball, and it blew my mind.
What is relleno?
Relleno, stuff.
Oh, what does Rihanna mean? That's queen, right? Yeah, Rihanna del Corazon.
Relleno de corazón.
Queen of Hearts?
Queen of Hearts.
Never played cards?
No.
You never
Queen
played
of Hearts es reina de corazones.
Corazon.
Reina de corazón.
Come on,
Technicality, you have to give that to
I
him.
tried, guys. I tried.
No, you try hard.
Too hard. Is what she's
Reina del Sudor, maybe.
It's funny because you try so hard to speak Spanish, and sometimes I think my English is so broken that I don't know how this work out, like how I communicate with you guys.
You do
fantastic.
No,
it's excellent. You would never, like, I mean, you would honestly, like, never know that she's like, it's like broken. I'm like, it's really not. Yeah. I'm just sitting here like, can you hear Jordan and I going, like say anything?
But for
there's
us,
a lot of times where I say what I am pretty sure is the correct Spanish translation, and they still look at me like,
Yeah. You did really good today, though. I heard you say something, and it was really good.
Huevos, maybe. I'd like some eggs and some some papas.
I like the lady from the cafeteria. Actually, like stays there. And
she lets you sound it out.
Spanish. Like, I'm not gonna serve you food if you don't say it in Spanish. I like that.
It helped me out. I ate at Versailles the other day, and I ordered coffee in Spanish. Felt proud of myself.
There you go.
At first I thought she was going to answer back in English, and then that's always weird. Like when I try to speak Spanish, and then just go, hey, buddy.
Oh, first off, they can tell. Like, Gab's over here going, like, look at you guys.
When we walked in, it was obvious.
But probably they're just, get used to it by now. Like, a lot of people here, when the pandemic hit, a lot of New York people, move here, so most of them doesn't speak Spanish.
Yeah, thanks New York, you surged the rental prices. I'm sitting out here having to pay for all of my crap times 10.
It is way more expensive down here now since COVID because there's been such an influx. And you can hear it too in like the locals. They're kind of just like, oh my God, everything. The price has risen. And then on top of that, gas is now expensive. Oh,
no, gas
they are not. Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it has been very helpful.
Yeah.
Like kind of picking up Spanish, like watching you speak it and then just trying to figure it out on your own, even though half the time I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, they only speak Spanish at this hospital when me and Hadley are standing there and we look confused.
You mean English?
Yeah.
That's what I said. Oh,
no, you said Spanish.
They only speak Spanish. And then when me and Hadley are standing there and confused, they look at us and they try to explain.
No, they're so nice about it.
Yeah, and then they just
try.
And
yeah, they try.
Yeah. There's at one point where I'm presenting to this attending and I'm thinking that he's not listening to me, like when I'm like presenting, because he's like, oh, you forgot about this. You forgot about this. But now I'm like thinking back to it. I'm like, what if he just, like, I'm talking really fast English. So I'm like, oh, what if he just like couldn't hear me? Because I got like frustrated a little bit being like, no, like I definitely said all these things, but I'm not going to say, like, I'm not going to say shit. I'm not going to correct him. He's an attending. Yeah. I'm just going to be like, okay, like, I'll work on it or something like that. And then it frustrated me, but now I'm like, oh, looking back on it, probably just didn't understand me or like, you know, my dialect of English, which is just usually very fast and a little bit of like a southern accent every now and then. Not nearly as bad as Jordan, though. We can always say that.
Yeah, this girl would walk around the ER and then people would stop her and be like, oh, wow, you're from where? Louisiana. Oh, okay, cool. Wow, you must be pretty southern then. And she would just look at him and go, you should ask that guy to talk, and then walk away. Like, that was her out of the conversation.
Yeah, or I would just be like, have you heard this redneck try to piece a sentence together?
And then I'm just standing there like, hola, senor. Yeah, we, the only people that really spoke English were usually demented or something, where nobody...
Something. But Jordan did have, like, speaking of, like, first impression of Jordan, someone had a huge crush on Jordan, apparently, before I even came down. I think you both told me about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain.
They had a... before Hadley could have set him straight or anything.
I would have loved that.
It was actually the first day I got to the hospital. I just met Gabriela, and then the doctor walks in, and he's sitting at his desk. He's about to fumble some paperwork. I'm about to introduce myself. I'm like warming myself up, trying to think of what I'm going to say. Like, oh yeah, hey doctor, you gotta. Hey, if you're a student, because you're waiting for them to just look up.
It's an opportune time. You got to pounce on it.
You got to make sure like the fan's blowing in your direction, so you don't look.
You look real good.
Yeah. Either way. So I'm standing there waiting for him to look up, and then this patient walks up beside me and just is like, "Oh, hey," and I was like, "Oh no," and she looked a little, lost, distraught,
maybe not fully oriented. If everyone's getting what we're talking about,
Either way, she's like, "I know you from somewhere." I was like, "I doubt that. This is my first day." And she's like,
remember.
But that was when she was like, "Your first day," and I was like, "Yeah, this is my first day." She's like, "Being a doctor." And I was like, well, not even there yet, but I will.
Close.
No, and then I told her it was my first day at the hospital, and she was like, no, I've seen you before. And at this point, the doctor's now staring at me.
Yeah.
And he's like, who is this guy?
When you're telling this story, I'm literally half expecting you to just be like, oh no, I've seen you before in my dreams. Like, that is the way that I feel like this patient literally just interacted with Jordan.
It was kind of like she was like talking to me softly, and I was like, oh. And so then... he's staring at me like, why am I entertaining? And I'm
the patient,
like,
yeah.
I'm just like, I don't even know what's going on. Because I'm like, oh, no, this is my first day. Like, I'm just, hello, Dr. Christine. My name's Jordan.
Yeah, he just like sticks his hand out immediately. Hi there. Sorry about this.
Yeah. She's like, oh, I know you. I know you.
Oh, I know you.
I don't
and
think
I think
you
that was...
Well, I'd like to know you.
And that was like 7 a.m.
Yeah,
this encounter lasted until like 1 p.m. until the patient had to go to a room.
Yeah, she would
every single time the patient had to go to the bathroom to call someone. She will stand right in front of Jordan. It's like, oh, hello, and again and again and again. I was like, oh boy, you're in big trouble now. What is she on
that gives her that much energy? Because like, okay, can we make it legal? If to be that. I guess, like, ramped up at 7 a.m. It's Dunkin', Starbucks, everyone would be out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, whatever she was on, I don't know if I want it, but...
No, that's fair.
But she did that with me until another nurse or tech or somebody came in. There was another guy.
No, you have to go to your bed, to your room, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and then she was able to go find another...
oh, jeez.
Because this is my first interaction, too, so I can't just be like, hey, like...
It's like wildly uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. Which, I mean, that doctor was fine.
That happens, yes.
It's just funny because everybody else is staring at you now because you're the only one talking to the patient, and the doctor is like, what is going on? And he just got there, so he doesn't know me or the patient.
True.
So he's just like, oh, this is an interesting conversation at my desk.
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of, like, funny moments like that. That was hysterical.
That same day, Gabby, the people tried to fight. Because that one guy that was, like, staring at me.
Oh, yeah.
We had a
You got a Dr. Strong?
We had, well, I don't know if we
Kind
handled
of,
it, yeah.
but no.
We didn't need Dr. Strong because we had one patient acting up. Or you can tell the story, Gabby.
Do it.
Okay, it was like this issue with one guy. It got heated up and started like screaming at the nurses and blah, 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 like treating them bad. And one guy, like across the, the ER, heard this. And he just stood up like he was, on his own troubles. He stood up and was like, oh, you don't treat my girls like that. These nurses are good, blah, blah, blah. And they started like screaming, corner to corner, like, and we were like in the middle, like in the seats, the seat. And we were like, oh, this is going down really fast. And one of the nurses said like, no, don't get trouble with him. I know you're trying to protect us, blah, blah, blah. Just go to your room. And the other guy was like, come on, I'm going to fight you. And, the text said, okay, when this both go up to the floor, they're going to fight.
Yeah.
They're going to fight. Like, they can smell.
Yeah. They're about to, like, go, like, hunt the other one down and be like, you better sleep with one eye open.
One of them was on the phone with his mother, I remember, and he was like, Mom, if this man does not stop talking about these nurses, I'm about to... Hold up, Mom. Hey.
It was like that.
He was like, get back in your room. And he was like, hey, Mom, sorry, I had to...
Sorry, Mom, I had to take care of some business.
Mom said, please stop. And he's like, I'm about to go for it again.
Oh, jeez.
It was funny, though.
It was funny.
Just because, well, I guess it wasn't funny, but it was...
Yeah.
No, at the moment it was, like, scary because they were, like, too...
They're probably too larger. This is when you throw in Jordan in the mix, just like being there as like some like other like tall guy that like they perceive as like
Jordan
an actual
was in the
threat.
Back of the room, like I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah, Jordan.
You're gonna fight. I'm gonna open the floor.
One
for
of the
you
guys, he was sizing me up to begin with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like the guys that just size you up, and that's just like not a good thing that you want like in the mix of everything.
Yeah, one of them walked by the bathroom and just the one that was acting up towards the nurses, he just walks by the bathroom and just like turns his head slowly and I'm talking to Gabriela and just feel his head turn and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It's interesting.
Creepy. But yeah, so Carroll T is a interesting hospital, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we talked about the language barrier. Some of the duties we had while we were there, we got to do the note. Well, like we would go see the patients, give a history and everything, physical, do the whole physical exam, and then go report it back to the attending. Sometimes we would write the notes, and then he would review them right after. They were actually really, really good about that. Like when we did a note or did something, we would review it and do.
Yeah.
It wasn't like because I've been in some rotations where they, like maybe you're with like residents, something that's kind of like. You just write the note and I'll read it by myself in another room.
So you never really get like, the feedback, on like how good your note is, what you need to work on. Yeah, so it was nice. Their EMR system is definitely different. It's not epic, so in a lot of ways it was a learning curve to kind of learn how to get around, but it's really not hard to navigate. I just forget a lot. AKA Hadley's just bad at notes.
That system is a weird one. I'm not sure exactly the name of it, but that one was a weird one.
Just fill the blanks.
We got to do, we put in a ton of lines during this time. They have this COVID clinic thing going on, and one of the residents is in desperate need of hands.
Yeah, it's like hands, bodies, so like someone.
Putting in lines and giving out monoclonals left and right, which is pretty cool.
That experience in itself, like learning to like put in a line and doing it effectively, is a skill that's going to stay with you the rest of your life.
Definitely. And saw like the girl with the adverse reaction.
Oh yeah, that was today.
Yeah.
Gabriela saw her first adverse reaction to the monoclonal antibodies, which is it's just like some flushing, and then he actually said like most of the time you just wait.
Water,
let
them breathe, take off the mask,
and it's usually not severe.
Yeah.
But it only happens once every 1,000 or something like that, and of course it was Gab's patient.
Now, I have put a lot of monoclonals, and the first thing she told me I feel something weird in my mouth. I thought was the solid, the flush thing. But the doctor said, no. She's having an adverse reaction. And my mind was like, oh, geez, we have to run.
Yeah.
We have to run. We have to run.
Where's the epinephrine?
Something like that. And he said, no, just get water. I'm like, what? Just water? Like, the patient could die. In my mind, the patient can die. No, just water.
He's like, not even saying go get Benadryl. He's like, just go get water.
Just get water. Water with ice. I remember. And I was like, what? And I just run. And I remember telling you guys,
just go and see it. She passes me and she tells me this and I'm like, oh my God. So like I go run in and all it is just like someone sitting there drinking water and I'm like, oh, okay, good. Like it's not a big deal.
When you came in, I was like, I thought we were supposed to be doing something super important and she was just sitting there.
But he was so relaxed, so laid back, just give me water. I'm like, what? Just water? How this is going to fix this?
Yeah. It's interesting. It's like you learn how to deal with certain things. Jordan finally learned how to properly measure because we had this one infected wound, and Jordan looks and eyeballs it like a typical man and looks, and he's like, that looks about 3 to 4 centimeters. Measured it with my handy dandy actual ruler. It was 1.5 by 0.5 centimeters. So let's just say, for the record, that this is exactly why men overestimate measurements.
That is true, though. Men do overestimate their inches or their centimeters.
There you go.
Everything is... Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, just a little eyeball. Yeah.
I just was like...
Really put me in check there. Yeah. Right out the gate. And then she looks at me, just turns and starts laughing, too. Like, she's like, men.
Yeah.
Overestimating them.
And Hadley was ready to cut it off.
Yeah.
I was, yeah. I just want to cut. I want to cut everything.
Anytime Hadley's near a patient, she's like, "Hey, by the way, we might have to stab this with a needle, and if not, then that'll be fine too. But it would be really helpful if I stab it."
Yeah.
And then they
open their eyes like, what?
I made a joke too. I was like, because I like made a joke, not realizing that this is someone that we spoke in kind of like, broken English and Spanish too. And I made a joke and I was like, actually, we're probably just gonna have to take it off, like the whole the whole leg. And they just look at me and I think they think I'm serious. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really sorry. I'm not actually meaning that.
I am trying to take your leg, but I am sorry that you hurt me.
I was just like, yeah, I didn't mean it like that.
That was hilarious. Yeah, because we decided just to give him antibiotics, and then he was like, "Are you not going to cut it?" And we're like, "Oh no, that's Hadley's thing."
It's like she's just a little like trigger happy,
She's trigger happy. She's trigger happy. But yeah, so we've done lines. We got to do all those interviews and everything. I still have not had a chance to do a full Spanish interview. I always back out halfway through because it starts to get intense, and then I'm like, oh no, I don't know this translation. But yeah, so we have that. Hadley did some FOBTs. This girl's got.
I did one FOBT, but the thing is that everyone's done them, I think, at some point, and they were just like, okay, like this patient so and so room needs an FOBT. Who wants to do it? And I remember we were with like the 2 of the nursing students, and they just like look at each other, and then they look at me, and I was like, I'll do it. I was like, do you guys want to take it? And they were just like, no. And I was like, all right. And I think it was it you that came with me, Gab? Yeah. It was you because I need my handy dandy translator with me just to be like, hey.
You kind of poke your finger.
I was like, hey, turn around.
Yeah, how would you say that in Spanish?
In Spanish?
Yeah. You're about to poke your finger into someone's butt.
All I'm going to say is, Dios mío.
That's what he said.
Yeah, no. That's, I would not be able to actually translate that. It's just like, lo siento is all I would say,
She just
honestly.
starts using her hands to kind of like show how she's going to do it.
Yeah, just honestly. But FOBTs don't take very long either. Like, we had everything prepped. The guy was like really nice. And I double gloved because why not? And also I have the claws on right now. So I did not want to perforate this poor guy's
This girl's looking like she could be straight out of downtown Atlanta. She's got some...
I do not have they're not that long. They're getting longer, but that's because my nails are growing out. But it was not that bad, but it was quick, and I came out, and the nursing students were like, "Wow, that was really fast." And I'm like, "It's a finger."
Yeah.
You don't have to search for anything.
I know. I was like, I'm not going digging for gold.
Well, yeah, you might not find any of that in there, but you'll find something.
You keep digging, you're gonna find something.
The first time I did it, the lady clinched.
I forgot about this story.
Yeah, I felt bad because that was my first time doing it, so I wasn't gonna just I just felt, I don't know. I panicked and I just put my hand on her back and I was like, honey, I gotta have this finger.
It was like an alligator snapping turtle. I was gonna take Jordan's finger off.
She tried to take, she at least just up to the knuckle.
This poor lady.
But yeah.
We're serious.
This was a very good rotation, I think, because it gave us a lot of one-on-one time with the attendings and a lot of time with the techs and other people to do certain procedures. Now, the issue is there wasn't emergent procedures being done, but we got to do a bunch of the minor ones and stuff like that. Got really good at that. You know, if you're only doing rotations where you're always with the residents and not really having that one-on-one time with the attending, you can kind of get lost in the weeds. You kind of think this is how it's supposed to be, but you don't get all that practice. I will say, like, one piece of advice to go into, I mean, an ER is the most prominent one, but all the other rotation, I guess this kind of applies, is we were talking about it the other day, Hadley, is you have to have the skill of how you're going to how to hold yourself, like, out of the way, but then still be helpful whenever you...
It's like knowing your role and having, like, environmental awareness.
That's the best way to say it.
So it's kind of like, you know, in any kind of healthcare role that you take on, you have a team set up, right? So you have to figure out how you're going to be most helpful. And sometimes the most helpful way is like standing out of the way, which I had to do one time, like recently in the ER. Like it was one of my first days, if not the first day, and everyone's like speaking Spanish like to each other about like what they're going to do. I can't offer any help because I don't know what's going on. So instead of like doing anything, I'm just bringing up everything that I can like around me to be like helpful, but also I'm like, get out of the way. Like when I say helpful, I was just like sitting there like with a trash can and stuff like that, just in case they needed me to like assist, like throwing it in there. That was it. Because other than that, and like going and getting anything that they needed, there was nothing I could do.
Yeah. Was that the EGD?
Yeah.
That was interesting to watch, was an EGD in Spanish. Because I had seen one before, but I'd never seen one in Spanish. It was like watching your favorite movie, but in a different language.
It was like watching Shrek. What did we talk about? It's like watching Shrek.
Because I was Spanish. Like, I think I know what's going on, but I have no idea what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then...
And at this point, I don't know so much about the procedure, so I cannot translate it to
Yeah.
It's difficult. Okay, I'm trying to like grasp it everything in just one sentence. Just like watch what he's trying to show us in the monitor. And later I will translate whatever I, grab it. Because I don't know at this point what's going on either.
That has to be difficult for you, is hearing it in Spanish, but then you also have to like remember it in Spanish and then translate it. And then like try to remember it all totally. No, like when you go home, you're like, oh, what did I learn?
Yeah.
All I've been doing is translating. I don't even know.
I learn a lot, but sometimes like in Spanish, some parts of procedures and stuff, they say it in complete other language. I know it's Spanish, but when I hear from them, I'm like, what are you trying to do? Like, I don't get it. Like, like my medical school classes were English, and when I go to these settings, they're Cuban, so they learn it in Spanish. So they will proceed to say whatever they're trying to do in Spanish, and I'm like, what?
So it's almost like medical terminology in Spanish, and that's really hard for you to pick up.
Because I always learn it in English.
Oh.
So sometimes they were like,
I never even thought about that.
Yeah, sometimes they talk about something, I'm like, so what now? Like, what do you need? Or they pointed out to an instrument, and they said in Spanish, and I'm like, okay, there are like 10 instruments here. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's difficult sometimes for me.
I know. But like my respect for like Gab, just like even tolerating us, like no, like on a normal day-to-day basis, we're a lot to handle. But like especially when we're like, hey, like what is this, or how do I say this, or like we'll be in the room and she's interpreting like for us, like at a perfect pace too, because then she'll look at us after having a full-on conversation and explain everything.
Yeah.
So it's all just been so nice, and it literally reminds me so much of. Have you seen Modern Family?
I mean, yes, I have.
Yeah. So, like, there's Gloria, right?
Which is...
and it's very funny the gorgeous one. It's Sofia Vergara. And it's so funny watching her because it's like they make the character have, like, almost like broken English. But she says one thing in one season, and it, like, totally changed, like, the way that you look at her. She literally goes, do you even know how smart I am in Spanish? And it sticks with you because you're like, oh, my gosh. They're extra smart because they're not only translating, but they're constantly translating in their head. Mm-hmm. 2 languages that are not meant to be the same. Like the end of a sentence in Spanish is like not the same as the end of a sentence in English.
So true. And you know me, I even forgot English trying to learn Spanish.
Oh, 100%.
I ride in the car with Hadley and I'm like, I not sure if that's spelled correct. Is that in Spanish or is that in English?
Jordan has a TIA every time we drive together.
I speak Spanglish.
Yeah, well, she was just like, no, it's spelled the exact same both ways. I'm like, oh, okay.
No.
So, yeah.
Like I'm telling you, every day Jordan has like a mini TIA on something, and we just have to like sit there and joke about it. This whole rotation and last one has just been like me constantly chirping Jordan too, and now Gab's in on it, which is great.
I've had a rough month. Okay, damn it.
You deserve some time off.
Yeah, but I will say Hadley's the perfect person to ride with if you're late for anything.
Oh,
like
we're like, oh, that's so sweet. No, he's not trying to be sweet about it.
I am being sweet about it. Like, if there's a meeting that you need to go to and you are already 8 minutes late, call Hadley.
The thing is that like we're gonna end up in the emergency room, but we might be the patients.
There you go.
Like there we go. I Tokyo drift and I will speed to try to get wherever I am. I'm going to knock on wood right now and say I've never had a speeding ticket.
It has been interesting.
They can't catch me.
Yeah. I didn't even know you're speeding if more than just highly navigating the traffic with perfection.
Oh, I weasel. Yeah, I know how to weasel my way in and out.
She's quick.
Someone needs to hire me as like some sort of like race car driver or something.
You could have done that.
I could have honestly sidelined that to pay off my student loans. And I'm kicking myself as like, I can't believe I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Thought we were going to sell our eggs.
Yeah, eggs and plasma. I already called and set up a plasma appointment.
She really did. Right before you got here, Gabby, she was sending.
Yeah, I was. You gotta respect the grind.
This is the problem with med school, people, is it's so expensive to live and we have to pay for tests. Like, we have to pay for everything that we're expected to have or do as doctors, and we don't get an actual paycheck for it. So
thank you. We pay the hospital to be there.
We pay for that experience.
Yeah, I mean, we pay for every experience we get. We pay to work there and make no money, and so Hadley is now selling plasma.
I'll sell anything.
And taking out a loan.
that leaves way too much room open for interpretation. But at this point, I mean, I'm so broke that it's gotten real bad.
We can sell blood and semen.
There you go.
Together.
That's disgusting.
That's
Gab literally was like, I'm done.
Yeah, because the appointment too with
that
you.
Is no, I mean,
it's hard. It's hard.
Hadley she said that she's found some great benefits to selling some eggs.
Oh, really, yeah. Honestly,
monetary benefits.
Monetary benefits. And also, I mean, I was looking into egg freezing anyway. And apparently if you do like 3 cycles at this one company, not only I think are you getting paid, but they also will like freeze your own eggs for free. Like it's part of the package.
And that's what, Mary Beth said.
Yeah, now I'm getting Jordan's girlfriend in on it, and so now we're just like, yeah, we're gonna have eggsicles as kids.
I could use some extra money and
Jordan's like, I could use some extra years.
Actually, that's a good idea. We're really exposed to X-rays every single day. Like, me as a woman, I'm afraid that maybe later on I have some fertility issues. So I kind of like that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I like it.
I can't have a baby right now. I really want to have a big family, but I'm 27. But I cannot have babies like in 5 or more years.
She's had family pressure.
It's tough.
Let's don't talk about this here, please. Don't put me on the spot.
We don't talk about Bruno.
No. We don't talk about Bruno. We kill Bruno.
It's tough. The biological clock on a female, that's tough.
Yeah, that's hard. Like, and we as a physicians, we probably won't end our careers until like 30, 31st, 33 years. Who knows? And by that age, you probably want to travel, get married, and you don't want to have kids right away after med school, residency, or find a job. Or start paying like student loans. Yeah. So by the time we want kids and we can have them, it's really hard.
Yeah, you got like a 2-year window, I think, or something, like a 2 to 3 year window, like by the time that you actually want to kind of like sit there and like settle and like actually do stuff. So yeah, it is definitely hard.
You could do like my mom did and have 3 kids before med school. And then,
and then we could easily do that too. I don't know that woman astounds me in so many amazing ways because I don't know how she did that.
I don't know how she got the money, that's for sure.
I don't know how she put up with not only one of you, but 3 of you.
Well, there's not 3 of me. The other 2 are way worse.
I don't believe that at all. I literally do not believe that.
It's hard.
Yeah, I cannot imagine. doing all that. But I thought for when you got your eggs frozen and everything, you had to like take a bunch of hormones and everything.
You do, and that's like the downside to it. I mean, because like,
I mean, you technically are losing them anyway every month.
I know.
You're just losing eggs.
That's the whole thing with like the sugar baby concept too. I spent the entire interview season for like Match stuff, like interviewing with like these like, you know, kind of like older men, like having a conversation with them, like trying to flatter them in their program because I was interested in the program. It's the same thing with sugar babies. So I was like, I better just profit off of this.
Yeah. Like, I certainly need to be profiting.
So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, well, I'm doing this for free. I might as well like start profiting off of this.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the good thing about being a sugar baby is your client could be your future interviewer. Like, you know,
I think that would be like my worst
person.
Nightmare.
Well, I mean, if you're trying to get the
okay,
program.
that's true. Like, he would automatically have to accept you because
super wide. He realizes he's like, oh no.
Yeah, that's when you go like full blackmail and you're like, if you don't put me in this program, I swear.
I'm gonna give you the Latina blackmail book. So you can do that.
There we go. Oh, no, she actually carries around like a little black book in the ED when she writes all of like the patient stuff down, like to go report for her patient logs. And so I'm going to borrow Gab's book as like my actual little black book. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
I mean, you got to be aware of that little black book though.
I know. That's got some dirt in it.
That's got some dirt in it.
She probably has an entire log on like you and I, even though we're not patients.
She definitely has a page where she wrote like Spanish translations for me. Like,
I left it at home, I think. Yeah.
She definitely wrote, like, she would just jot down words that I said.
Yeah, I remember
like, this is how you say this word, Jordan.
It was ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream. Ice cream helado versus mantecado.
Helado, yeah.
I think it's just helado.
Yeah.
Or
it's
gelato.
just helado.
Or gelato.
Wait, how did you say the milk-based one again?
Mantecado.
Mantecado. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Monte
still
Carlo.
Still learning. Monte Carlo.
It's what it sounds like, Monte Carlo.
Yeah, I just pick an association.
Yeah. And then immediately that's
At
it.
this point, you're going to the ice cream store. Can you give me a Monte Carlo?
Yeah.
And they will be like, what?
I know.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you want milk base? I'm like, no, I want the car.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. Well, I don't really have. Do y'all have any other funny stories or anything? Shout out to Myrna. She was another student.
Yes.
She didn't get to make it here because she ended her time prematurely.
Oh, we should talk about Myrna's desserts when we're talking about like the food too, because not only is like the food amazing and like amazingly cheap, you know, for like the price of like what we get. Myrna, for her last day, brought us some little treats.
Yeah, Egyptian treats.
Beautiful Egyptian treats. I think it was just like a lot of like Middle Eastern like treats too, like all together. And she handmade them and they were literally amazing.
She's going to butcher us for not being able to remember all of
it. It was baklava was on there. I can't remember the other one, but it was almost like a sweet pancake with like...
Yeah, that one had all different
it had cheese in that? Like, I am lactose sensitive, and I still ate that.
Yeah. Shout out to Myrna. That Egyptian heritage really did it right.
Yeah. Honestly,
She's
Myrna...
somewhere watching Moon Knight.
Yeah, exactly. She's like not even listening. Myrna, shout out to you. Your treats were the shits, literally, for me.
Yes. And then, I mean, I definitely recommend doing an ER rotation, especially if you want to do it. And if you're trying to go into emergency medicine, Carroll 2 wasn't necessarily the hospital that was a trauma center or anything, but it did allow you the access to work with the attendings.
Very hands-on.
And it was a very chill rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to learn a lot of Spanish. That's the major key win from Carroll 2.
It's like learning Spanish, for sure.
We didn't have to do any tests or anything, so I don't really have any recommendations there.
Yeah, I never even took the emergency medicine shelf, by the way. That was one thing that, like, you can take it.
Oh, okay.
But I never even took it, and I'm an EM, so, like...
There you go.
There you go. You don't even need it.
There you go. Right there. You don't even need it. No tests needed in this place. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think we said our piece.
Gabriela, it's been great. That was just another ER rotation in review. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us at offwhitecodepodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on our Instagram. Ladies, it's always great.
Thank you.
Adios.
Deuces, mofo.
Bye-bye.
Hasta luego.
Hey everyone, I want to take this time to tell you about our friends over at TrueLearn. They have this top-of-the-line test bank that is perfect for any upcoming board exams that you may have. They have test banks for all types of exams. So whether you're studying for medical school, nursing school, OT, pharmacy, and others like speech pathology, TrueLearn is the way to go. If you're like me and going through medical school, they have a question banks for all the big exams, like Step 1, Step 2, and Step 3, with quality assessments for each exam. Look, I know we didn't go into healthcare because we love taking tests. This is the hard part of the job. Make it easy on yourself with TrueLearn. Sign up now with the code OFFWHITECOAT to get $25 off your purchase. That's OFF white coat, no spaces, to get $25 off your purchase. This is a test bank that you do not want to pass up on. Make this easy on yourself. Take the deal, pass your boards, and get back to enjoying the reason you went into healthcare. And make sure to use Off White Coat when you pick it up.